Welcome back to Forest Hill United Methodist Church's podcast, It Takes a Village. I am Reverend Mandy Neal, and we are so glad that you are joining us today. We have a very special guest, a friend of mine that I'm really excited that she is here, Reverend Stacey Lundy, and you're the incoming pastor at Central. And so welcome to town.
Thank you.
It's exciting that I know you so well and get to serve right down the street from you. So we're really, really happy to learn a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit about you and about your ministry.
Yeah, I'm a pastor's kid, so I grew up in the United Methodist Church. Actually served in the mission field in Zimbabwe. My parents were in Zimbabwe. Dad was an architect at the time and helped build some of the first buildings of Africa University.
Wow.
So I played hide and go seek while they opened the university, not realizing what a big moment that was. Came back when I was 7 for Dad to go to seminary and be a pastor. So I said I would never do that. That doesn't work out too well when we tell God never. But I served in Durham while I was in seminary and served in Salisbury back in the Western North Carolina Conference. And then I was in Anson County at several churches there before moving here to Cabarrus County at Central. So I'm glad to be back in the land of more amenities and restaurants and food and gyms and all those things that we can really take for granted. So it's great to be here in this community and to have a friend to serve alongside.
So when we move, we begin to think about, we have all of these different resources and it feels different. So you've served in a rural place, you've served in Salisbury, so you've served in Durham. So you've really served in a lot of different communities, a lot of different types of communities, including overseas. So as you're landing in Concord, what things are you asking or what do you notice about town?
Yeah, it's really interesting moving, just how important food is, right? Me and my husband, Kevin, are excited to be near new restaurants that we've loved and haven't had a chance to eat at in a while, and then new places we get to try. I have celiac disease, which means I can't have gluten. That's in wheat, rye, barley, and oats. I also can't do oats. So I have to be really careful and selective about what I eat and where I eat. So that presents an extra layer of challenge when you're trying to get to know a new place. Where are the places that not only offer the food that I can eat, but take care in preparation to make sure that it's safe. This is an extra challenge because we don't have a microwave in our house right now. We've had the floors redone and painted and all this stuff to try to make sure our house is ready and really the way we want it. And so we moved from a above the stove microwave to not having one. And it's just striking how much not having that one piece of equipment changes the way I eat. Mm-hmm. I am so much more likely to go out and eat, even though my stove works fine. I can make something in the pan for breakfast, but I'm much more likely to go out and eat regardless of whether I was going to fix that meal in the microwave or not. And I'm less likely to take the leftovers home with me because I don't have an easy way to warm them up. It's just, it makes me think more about food and how much our environment impacts the way we can eat and how healthily we can eat and the choices that we make, especially when our lives are full and busy and we're getting to know all these other areas of life in a new place.
Yeah, and downtown is very walkable. So I have had a couple meals with you. I have seen you when I've been out with others. So that's kind of fun. It's a really, food is an experience, right? So part of coming to town is figuring out what our local businesses are and where we find produce and all of these things are new. And it's just another layer of the way that not only we get to know town, but the questions that we begin to ask around town, what do you like to eat?
Right.
Yeah. What's a good place to go?
Yeah. It's striking how many people, knowing I've been here a couple of weeks, say, well, what's your favorite place? I don't know. You tell me, help me figure it out. But even, it's so wonderful to be downtown and to be able to walk to many places that serve fresh and healthy and wonderful, tasty food. But then on Monday,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself on Monday because those restaurants generally aren't open. Our environment shapes us a lot more than we acknowledge.
And so you and I have particularly been thinking a lot about food this summer. So Stacey and I are in the Doctor of Ministry program at Duke. And this class, we've taken a class this summer about food and faith, and y'all have heard me talk about it. So I'm excited to hear like what you have to talk about and like what you have been thinking as you've been going through the class. And I want you to share with us, like, what are your takeaways? What are you learning? How does that interact with this season in which you are moving to a new place and trying to figure things out in a different way?
Yeah, thanks for that. Having a class structured around food and faith, really makes you think about what you eat in a different way. Fundamentally, like, what is food for? What is food? There have been seasons of my life where I just thought of food as fuel, and sometimes that means like that phrase "fed is best," right? Like, I just need to eat a meal no matter what it looks like. I just need to complete this task. But then other times in my life, that's been tracking fiber and protein and all of those kinds of things, without much regard to how it tastes and how it makes me feel and the way it fosters community. But food really impacts every area of our life, our health, the way we socialize with others. It impacts our economic situation and a political situation. And it's something we don't examine very often. So it's really been wonderful in this course to be encouraged to think about that a little bit more. My first Sunday, a couple of weeks ago, my husband overheard two fellows talking about this food market down under the Rotary enclosure downtown that happens. He talked to a farmer that was there about how his season was going, and this man shared with another man whose name I don't know about how important migrant farm workers were to what he was doing, and how the same families came back year after year to work for him and work with him, but yet he still wasn't able to meet all the needs for help. And many of these workers begin in the South with seasonal crops and kind of move up season by season to harvest different crops, go up north, and then start back over again. It just is an incredibly hard life. And it makes me wonder in this season where immigration is not just a hot topic issue, it's like boiled over in intensity. Food impacts everything we do and everything we are and how we are as people, and it's what keeps us alive and it connects us to each other. There's got to be a way that we as people of faith can think with integrity about these things. These are people that come and work in our country, that work under often very dangerous conditions, that sometimes don't have any kind of protections at all, while they still pay into our tax system and contribute to our local economy. And yet we're having lots of conversation and really tense interactions with people who are part of our food system. This impacts all of us.
And we don't often think about that on a local level. So we kind of feel removed from that because in our general food system, we're not engaging with people who are actually picking the produce that we're eating.
Right. Well, I mean, just think, most of us, unless you're going to the market that Forest Hill is doing on Mondays, we're pretty removed from the farm and from the field. And, we go to a grocery store and we pick up produce that's sort of fresh, but not very fresh. And there's a lot of distance between us and the product and the people that are involved. when I first arrived to town, I went to Food Lion and I got some spinach to put in my breakfast in the mornings. And the second day I couldn't use it anymore because they had frozen it at some point. And when it thawed, it made that like goopy spinach leaf mess. And I thought, this was supposed to be fresh food.
We have really learned, we at Forest have learned so much just by interacting with the farmers in our community and just the NC State Extension Office and just interacting with people who are here about what fresh food really is. And I'm not sure I remembered what fresh food was until the summer because we get accustomed to that. Like just that begins to be the expectation of what we can get in the grocery store we think of as fresh. But when it's really fresh, it's a whole different, it's a whole different product.
Yeah. My husband thinks he doesn't like tomatoes, but it's because he is not used to getting those beautiful heirloom tomatoes that are straight off the vine, that are just bursting with flavor. We miss the goodness of food when we're removed from it, and when we're separated from the people that help make sure we get that, whether that's immediate or a little bit of separation in the grocery store, then we're missing people's humanity, and we're missing our call as a church, not only to address immediate food needs with things like food backpacks and community meals and community gardens and fresh markets, and we're missing the opportunity to go deeper and form relationships and fundamentally change the conditions that people are able to work in. So many wonderful people of faith volunteer at all these food backpacking programs and all those wonderful things, which are needed and important. But we don't often take the next step and think about food policy and the things that shape the environment and the system in which we get food and that people are working in. God calls us to not just charity work, but to justice work, which means we've got to address, invite other people to fix these policy level decisions that are affecting people.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of education because many times we don't think about how the food that we're eating really is a justice issue. And so understanding some of those things like our farm workers and all of those things are really important to making good choices, making faithful decisions.
Right. Just thinking about farm workers themselves, many of the people that work in agriculture are undocumented. And that's not because farmers necessarily want it to be that way, but the visas that you get to come into the country to work seasonal work are slow and expensive. And so when farmers try to use that to get workers there, they often arrive 22 days into the picking season. Think about leaving corn or peaches or whatever sitting for 22 days. Like
that's a big piece of the growing season.
Yeah, they're done. You've lost a lot of revenue. And even if, as many farm workers do, even if you come into the country and you work at the same place, the same farm year after year, there's no way to even engage a pathway to citizenship or some sort of more regular worker status. I mean, our system is broken in a lot of ways. And we have an opportunity to help policymakers strengthen the system for people who want to do things and work here so that we can have fresh food.
And kind of the other piece of that is they're not going to have the workers if these people don't come. Right. Because as hard as it is to say, many Americans just do not want to go out and harvest crops in the field.
Yeah, even when you increase wages and protections, we're not seeing enough American citizens applying for those jobs. Yeah. I think undocumented workers make up about 50% of the workforce in agriculture, and that area, agriculture, is about 1.4 $5 trillion industry.
Wow.
So if you think if these workers were just suddenly removed, there would be billions of dollars of lost sales, product rotting, not available. And that causes us to have to import more from other places, which is not as nutritious and helpful for us and makes us more dependent on other countries. And it's a gnarly problem and a gnarly system, and it's hard to know all the issues and hold them, and then to think what we could possibly do about it.
And it's such an expansive system because we're all still eating every day, 3 meals a day. Like we're in the middle of this huge system, and we know there's some problems with it. And at the same time, we're engaging in it. So we are making choices every day.
Right.
And many of those choices we don't have control over because it's just the way that we get food. And that is, again, a privilege, right? So if you don't have a high income or opportunity to get education or, to think deeply about food because you're busy doing other things for survival, then you don't even have that opportunity to sit back. So even sitting back and reflecting on this feels like a place of privilege and opportunity.
Yeah,
and really
absolutely.
holy space. Like we have the ability to do this thing.
Right. And that makes it all the more important that we engage in those opportunities to talk to our lawmakers, talk to our policymakers, and say, hey, food's actually really important to every aspect of our life. Could you please make sure that our school kids have access to nutritious meals? All of them,
because they can't make a lot of choices for themselves, and many of them go home to not nutritious meals.
Right. Like at the base level, like we should all care about our kids, right? Like let's make sure they have access to healthy food. Could you increase the access to SNAP benefits? The SNAP is supplemental nutrition assistance part. Like it's not designed to take away a family's contribution to buying healthy meals, but many people need access to that. Expanding that would actually allow many of the food insecure people who need support and aren't able to get it to get them through. And just think, if you are a little bit hungry, you blow through breakfast, or you think your iced coffee is enough breakfast to get you through the day. If you get busy and work through lunch, like, I don't know about you, but my brain is foggy. I can't think straight. I get grumpy. I'm not nice to those around me, including my husband. That's one meal. But when you're constantly worrying about where food is going to come from, what dinner is going to look like, do you need to skimp on your food so that your kids can have a full meal? Like that affects your ability to flourish and to be part of your community and to learn about God, to think about spiritual things, which we care about as people of faith. We can, as people of faith, think about these things, create space to do that where others are working meal to meal or skipping meals, trying to think about how to navigate life. And we can invite our policymakers to do their jobs and think about these big picture issues. Like that's why we have representatives, so that they can work for the common good. That's how people of faith can support and make sure food access is expanded.
Yeah. So as you're new to town, and we're going to be doing ministry together in town, which is a part of what we do as a connectional body and a connectional system. So we kind of wrap up by just saying, like, let's think about what we want the future to look like. What values do we hope we're holding on to? What do we hope that we can be able to work together to do in some beautiful creation of how God intercedes with that through God's Holy Spirit, and just challenges us and grows us and strengthens us. So as you're thinking about that, I know you're just new to town and you're like, I don't know in 2 years, but just imagine in 2 years, as we're serving the community together. What do you think rings true from what we've talked about around food and faith this morning?
One thing I know about Methodists is that we love to eat.
Yes, we do.
Because food is so good and it is so important and it connects us to God and to one another. And so I hope that we can continue to find ways to eat together, to expand life around the table, and to help that be a sign to our community that God is good. Think of that phrase from the Psalms, taste and see that the Lord is good. We know we're connected when we share the table with each other. So as we find ways to serve together and we figure out what our community needs to eat, we know that God will be sustaining us along the way.
Well, we look forward to good table fellowship and good food here in Concord. And we're just so glad that you're here, and welcome to Concord. And we just pray for you and pray with you as we together figure out how to do good work in our community.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's so great to be in this community and to look forward to what God is doing in our midst.
And we'll see you next time.